Hello, my name is Andrew Jenkins, and I'm a firefighter paramedic with Loudoun County Fire and Rescue, currently stationed at Fire Station 623. This video covers how emergency incident rehabilitation will be conducted using the system's new Rehab Unit. In the process, we will also highlight some of the unit's capabilities. It will also allow us to showcase important considerations for ensuring the integrity of emergency incident rehabilitation. Before we begin, the importance of rehab cannot be overstated. A firefighter requires excellent physical condition. Even the most physical fit firefighter, just like an athlete, requires rehab. In 2018, the leading cause of firefighter death was stress and overexertion. Rehab on emergency incidents and training evolutions must be combined with annual physicals and work performance evaluations to ensure the health and well-being of our system members. From the incident commander to the company officer to the newest firefighter, everyone is responsible to ensure proper rehab is conducted and members are closely monitored by medically trained personnel. There are 3 levels of rehab according to the Northern Virginia Emergency Incident Rehabilitation Manual. Level 1 is a single EMS unit assigned to rehab in which units operate for less than an hour. Level 2 is the assignment of units on working structure fire. This would be an incident in which the rehab unit is assigned as the rehab group. An ALS provider is required in Level 2 rehab. Level 3 is rehab conducted on a campaign type incident such as a mountain fire or grain silo collapse, which spans several operational periods. The Northern Virginia Emergency Incident Rehabilitation Manual mandates rehab after 30 minutes of SCBA use or 45 minutes of work time. The incident commander may also establish rehab on any protracted incident based on weather or strenuous nature of the incident. Rehab should be located close enough to the incident for easy access, but far enough away to be free of hazards, smoke, or contaminants. When command assigns a unit to rehab, they should report to the rehab group supervisor. This is often the ALS provider in charge of rehab. Units should report to the rehab as a company. Proper rehab means contaminated PPE will be removed, hoods will be exchanged, and wipes will be used to remove soot. Before any medical screening can be conducted, PPE must be removed. The new rehab unit allows turnout gear to be hung on the outside of the unit. Gear can also be removed and placed in the heated compartment in cold weather to prevent freezing. A pop-up container for contaminated hoods will also be available. Place your dirty hood in the container. After rehab, you can pick up a clean hood before you leave. After your gear is removed, you may wonder how you will walk into the rehab unit without your boots. The unit carries some slides, also known as flip-flops or sandals, to not get your feet dirty. This also prevents dirty gear from contaminating the interior of the rehab. Lily pads, i.e. stepping stones, are placed around the unit so firefighters will not have to step on the ground as they move through the rehab process. Before medical screening can be conducted, cancerous byproducts must be washed off. If you remember, the neck and face are high absorption areas. By removing the hood and washing one's face and neck, we can effectively remove these carcinogens. The rehab is equipped with a large sink with warm water. Soap and towels are also available. Take time to thoroughly wash off. According to the Northern Virginia Emergency Incident Rehabilitation Manual, you must spend a minimum of 10 minutes in rehab. You must also be released by the rehab group supervisor before you can resume firefighting operations. So, there is no need to be in a hurry. Also, do not forget to don a surgical mask before entering the unit. You will be sitting close to other firefighters, so you need to wear a mask. After removing PPE and washing off carcinogens, firefighters are ready to be medically evaluated. This medical evaluation consists of several vital signs, including blood pressure, pulse, respirations, temperature, and CO reading, and oxygen saturation. All firefighters must be free of any medical complaint, such as trouble breathing, chest pain, or an injury. Vital signs are tracked and documented by the rehab group. 2 sets of vital signs are required from everyone completing rehab. The documentation of the vital signs may be completed on a rehab tracking sheet or via the electronic patient tracking system. While being medically evaluated, firefighters can have access to drinks for hydration. There's also specially formulated sports nutrition bars available in the rehab unit. The Rehab is also equipped with a powerful heating and air conditioning unit to keep the interior comfortable. Per the Northern Virginia Emergency Incident Rehabilitation Manual, every firefighter is required to spend a minimum of 10 minutes in rehab. While you are resting, you should make good use of your time. The Rehab carries 2 iPads with all of the county's Laserfish forms. One of those forms is the exposure form to document exposures to smoke, carcinogens, poison ivy, and even dirty water from a water rescue. Make sure you complete this form every time you go through rehab. It documents your long-term exposure and could really be beneficial if something happens. Failed rehabs occur when a member cannot be released back to operational status. The rehab supervisor, who is often the ALS provider in rehab, has the delegated authority to determine if a person is able to be released back to operations or if they have failed rehab. The criteria for a failed rehab include vital signs outside of safe range after 40 minutes in rehab, any medical complaint, any injury or burn from firefighting, or any evidence of an environmental injury, such as heat exhaustion. The rehab group supervisor will notify the incident safety officer and IC of all failed rehab events. Persons who have failed rehab will not be permitted to engage in any further activity on the incident, regardless of if they elect against transport to a hospital. Failed rehabs will also not be permitted to return to the station and remain on duty. The safety officer will begin any required documentation of the failed rehab. While communicating about a failed rehab, the firefighter's privacy must be maintained. The rehab group, incident commander, and safety officer must protect the firefighter's privacy. It is assumed that a failed rehab may potentially be related to medical condition. A failed rehab is treated and documented as a patient. Any failed rehab is strongly encouraged to be transported to the emergency department for evaluation. For a failed rehab, rehab personnel will complete a patient care report using the rehab personnel's agency-specific patient care reporting system. The transporting medic unit will also complete an EPCR to document care and transportation of the patient. Rehab is not completed and a company is not released until permission is granted from the rehab group supervisor, usually an ALS provider. This individual will check vital signs to make sure they meet the required parameters. The rehab group supervisor will radio command to let them know the rehab company is ready to be reassigned or released. As your crew is released, they can take a water, a snack, and some sunscreen to apply any exposed skin. The rehab is equipped with a large compartment on the driver's side that contains coolers with water. Let the rehab group supervisor know that you took a water so they can adequately replenish their supplies. There's also a fully functioning restroom complete with a sink for washing hands. If you need to use the restroom, please ask permission from the rehab group supervisor. Each use requires the black water tank to be emptied by a contractor. The restroom will only be used on prolonged incidents. This video covered how incident rehabilitation will be conducted using the system's new Rehab Unit. In the process, you learned about the unit's capabilities and important considerations for ensuring the integrity of emergency incident rehabilitation. Remember, it's everyone's responsibility to ensure proper rehab on an incident. If you have any questions about the operation of the new Rehab Unit, please contact personnel at Fire Station 623. Thank you. We'll see you on the big one.